Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Glad to see the chat's getting off silly as ever. We've got a little bit of for those of you who aren't regulars, I'll let you into a little secret. We've got a regular viewer, Ewok Kebab, who always currently dives into the chat with the most bizarre sort of like off the wall comment and then goes, oops, wrong chat every week. But we've been beaten to the punch this week by Spam and Egg, who is David's other half, who's put in the comment, so I told her we just need to check for the teeth after 24 hours. It's just the pigs won't eat those. Oh dear. So that just in case you are just in case you are new
already.
Just in case you are new, welcome to the fucking inanity. Enjoy the next 2 hours. It's going to be a roller coaster. Right. So yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah. Yeah, just thought you'd help out. You were beating him to it. So yeah, let's get into the show. The first thing we'll do is we'll just say give a shout out to the actual stars of the show who are live in the chat now. We've got at the top there, first man in, Hans Grabber, which is the alias for Paul from Pandyman Entertainment. Go check out his fantastic World War I game Trench Offensive over on Pandyman Entertainment, is it, or pandyman.co.uk? Just remind us if
Pandyman Entertainment, I believe it is.
But yeah, very good skirmish level miniatures game with terrain coming soon. So hello to Darren, Stroke Demon Sub, another great regular for our show. Again, go and check him out on Instagram under Demon Sub. We post some fantastic painted miniatures all the time. Some really left field stuff. Hello to some dude on YouTube, also known as Tim. You guys can check him out on both YouTube and Twitch. He does a regular Tuesday live stream where he interacts with
the unofficial hobby hangout.
Yeah, does the unofficial hobby hangout with Jerry from the On Tabletop team, and they go through some of the project system entries that members of the OTT community have put up. And if you're ignorant as to the On Tabletop community, can I recommend now that you go and join? It's about £40 a year-ish, I think, to get access to all their paywalled content. Even the free content's great, but £40 is an absolute steal. And the upside of it is you get to join one of the most fantastic wargaming and hobby communities online, in my opinion, in the world. Hello to Shark, relative newcomer to the stream. Thank you very much for your kind comments from last week's stream, sir. It was really appreciated. And it's great to see a new face. Hope you enjoy the show. And that's it.
Right.
Well,
following on from that,
Tim, he calls it the Hitler cast because you're a squarehead, mate.
Shall we just do a public service announcement?
To keep the racial obscenities flying.
Public service announcement. Warlord Games did not make last week's stream particularly clear, because apparently if you take one rifleman platoon, unlike what we were saying last week, you can take one of everything. So you can take a tank section and everything else. If you want to double up, then you need a second.
Voila! That's right, Tim. Yeah, so clear as mud, everybody. But obviously, it doesn't really change. I mean, essentially, what does it mean? If it led, to rehash from last week's show, what does it mean? It means you're going to have more officers in your standard platoon. You're probably going to still be able to bring the core riflemen and then some heavy weapons, some vehicles, some blah, just like you do currently in the generic reinforced platoon. But you're going to have officers to pay that officer tax for each of those subunits. Yeah, I mean, they could have been clearer, but it is what it is. But they will be appearing in the news later. So if you're new to the show, Over the next couple of hours, we're going to follow our usual format. The first thing we will do is discuss what we're going to be hobbying on. That's if we do any hobby, because I don't know about you guys, but it is bloody hot here in the UK. I've got a beer on to try and cool down. But if I don't overheat, I will be doing some hobby. Then we'll talk briefly about what we got up to at Gaming Club on Monday night. Pardon me. Then we've got a couple of news things to go through, including Warlord again. And then about 9 o'clock, we're going to do a first. We're going to do a first for Yellow Belly Tabletop, which is we're going to do a response video to a video that Tabletop Minions put up earlier this week. I think it was Friday last week, probably.
It was tail end of last week.
Because he puts out his videos come out regularly on a Friday, I do believe. So Uncle Atom was basically talking about 3 game mechanics that he would be glad if he never saw them again in games. So David and I are going to do sort of like a response pushback and then give 3 of our own, because I thought it was a bloody brilliant video and a great little topic.
Technically, you're going to get 6 because it's 3 each.
Jesus Christ. Whew. Yeah. Your analysis. So Shark says, friends, what are your analysis on the coming change machine? You're jumping the gun there, Shark. We will be coming to that.
Wait for the news. Wait for the news.
That's in the news. But yeah, we're 27 degrees. Fuck that, Tim. Frankly,
I dare not. Actually, let's go have a look what it is in my bedroom, which is on the north side of the house.
My fucking back is literally covered in sweat. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's too hot. Right, okay, let's get down to it. Do you want to go first, mate? As you're actually already
because I'm doing things a minute.
About. Right, okay. Well, let me go down first. So, we're planning to have a little game of Carnivale.
You fucker. Right, my bedroom, which is on the north side of my house, is currently 30.5 degrees Celsius. Fuck knows what it is in this room.
So yeah, we're planning to have a little game of Carnivale. I'm just going to pull my camera up. It's going to intrude into shot, but it's the best way. It won't get everything in frame otherwise. So we're going to be playing a little game of Carnivale, introducing Spam and Egg to
Carnivale.
Fucking hell, Spam's wrapped in a blanket. Are you mental? Paul's in his car with aircon on. That's a smart move. Yeah, we got a game of Carnivale coming up. So I'm working on my Carnivale terrain again. You'll probably just be able to see this is 98% finished. There's just a few rogue brush strokes I've got to go and touch up. You can just see where that cream's gone down onto the red brickwork. So I want to get this, tidy before we go to the wash step. So, and there's a thumbprint, look, where I've put my bloody thumb in paint, and then when I was holding the building, made a mark on the side. So I'm hoping it's a quick job to just whip round and tidy it up and get it ready for the wash step. So that's what I'm going to be working on tonight. If I get finished, I'll return to my massive tent that you saw on last week's stream, I think, and maybe a couple of streams.
And that's not a euphemism, boys and girls.
So that's what I'm up to anyway. So what we got here? Some dude on YouTube. What the MDF from? Oh, you mean you remember it from when I was painting it before, Tim? Yes. That's because it takes me forever to paint anything. So you will see.
Is slow.
You will see it for weeks before it's finished. Occasionally I get a mojo burst and manage to sort of smash a project out in a week, but rare is that the case. No, I'm not done with it, Tim. Paul says he washes his miniatures in the bath. Paul, you and Spam are in good company, mate. Everybody can see the stream a few weeks ago where Spam managed to
Spam dropped
drop
her mini.
hers in the bath. Nice. So are you gonna what are you doing then, mate? Come on.
Come down to my desk cam and we will show you.
Boo.
So we have Flames of War. I'm on a little bit of a Flames of War high. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
To get that out of my face.
But I'm currently going in and I'm painting and highlighting the infantry because they've been sort of half base coated, half boxed around with for a while now. So let's go in and get these guys finished because I'm fed up of looking at half painted miniatures.
How wet is
So
my
tonight,
wet palette? Oh, it's actually not that bad.
Probably bone dry.
No, it isn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. To be fair,
You bastard.
I was expecting the paper to be like fucking Egyptian papyrus, but it's not bad.
So I'm going in, highlighting the contrast paints with some greens and some browns to bring these up and make them look more American than they currently look. I fucking completely missed that guy. Good job. I did just pick him up. That's me. Right.
Shark, those are 15mm, mate. Flames of War. Americans.
So Bulge Americans. So I got paratroop squad and a shit ton of tanks somewhere.
So yeah. We did have an informal agreement only to do terrain, but David's broken that.
Oh, shut up, you whore.
It has been noted.
You stop it. Pack it in. Stop bullying me. What did I ever do to you?
Fucking hell, where do you want me to start?
Anyway, bitch, I believe you broke the terrain agreement first.
Did I? When?
Dungeons and Doggos.
Shit, he might have a point. He might have me there. To be fair, that's not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all. And if you're somewhere hot, I can imagine it does work quite well. Hello to Cheeseby, stroke Limburger. Oh, great. Yeah. So there you go. Cheeseby agrees with you, David. You got me, bastard.
Right then, fuck you.
Right. Okay, let's go. So, gaming, Monday night. So every Monday night, David and I go to our regular gaming club. And this week, I was playing Malifaux again, which I haven't played for quite some time. My opponent, Trevor, Upworlder, who is not going to be in the chat tonight because I believe he's at work. So yeah, I played Malifaux against Trevor. I felt a bit bad for him, to be fair. We used the Malifaux app to generate the scenario and the strategies and schemes, which is a great little tool. If any of you are playing Malifaux and are not using the free app from Weird, I would highly recommend it. It works extremely well and allows you to track your games, everything down to damage on the miniatures, upgrades, conditions, the lot. It's a really handy little tool. But we generated the strategies and schemes the day before so that we could pick through them and really save some time on the game night, because we do find that Malifaux runs long for us. We're quite slow players for Malifaux, and we rarely get to our fifth turn. So we only got 3 turns done. But as I say, I felt a bit bad for Trevor because by the end of turn 3, I was winning 4-1 when we called it for time. But part was not really any reflection on Trevor. I was running Asami, which is the 10 Thunders Japanese style demon summoner. And I've got such a collection of models now that I'm able to play the crew where I can summon the exact tool that I need for the job that I've got to solve. So like when Trevor bunched up 2 or 3 of his models, I summoned an Obsidian Oni, which is basically a walking hand grenade, and went in there and blew it up and put a load of burning and damage on several models. I was able to summon one of my beatstick fighter models back to life after he killed it, just to shore up and cover the objectives and basically just stop him scoring. So I've got to the point.
You being that guy, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think it was an element of I mean, again, the number of, for those of you who've not played Malifaux, it's it's the closest thing I would say to a computer game I've ever played as a miniatures game, because each individual model's got its own rules and you can pull off combos and weird effects. Like you've got a lot of placement and movement effects and a lot of they're not very intuitive, they're very specific to that game, like pushing and sliding other models about. It's quite an odd little game. But I've got to the stage now where I know my crew so well, I was pulling off a lot of basically, frankly, awful, that guy shit, where I summon a model, move a model to stand next to it, or pull a model out of combat. I mean, again, I did that to Trevor. He was close to taking down my henchman, so I summoned a rescue model, pulled the henchman out of combat, then sent the grenade, the Obsidian Oni, in to just fucking blow everything up.
Wreck phase.
And it as I say, everything was working for me. You can only score a maximum of 3 points per turn in Malifaux, and in turn 2 I scored the full 3, both schemes and the main strategy. So, like I say, it was going very well for me. But I did enjoy it, and I think part of the reason I enjoyed the game was because I've reached that level now where I'm playing the game well.
You're turned on to it, and you know what you're doing with it.
Yeah. Like I say, I felt as I was playing like somebody who knew what they were doing. I wasn't just, oh look, that worked quite well. That was a bit of a happy accident. Again,
didn't stumble onto your sandcastle.
No, for those other people again who've not played Malifaux doesn't use dice. So Malifaux, whenever you do an adversarial test, you flip a deck of cards. So essentially you have a built-in stat like you would do for most games, and then you add the card flip to it to give you test result. And bear in mind the cards can range from an ace for 1 up to a king, which is worth 13. So there is actually a huge amount of range in the deck. It's quite random and spiky like that. But you can what's called cheat fate. So you have a hand of cards, and as long as you're not at a disadvantage on the test, i.e. flipping 2 cards and picking the lowest, then you can always cheat. If you say you flip a 7 and you need a 12, and you've got the 12 in your hand, you just go, I got 12. But you obviously only have 7 cards in the turn to do that with, so you have to pick your battles. You have to. There's a lot of the skill in Malifaux is
knowing when to cheat.
Yes, do I spend this big card now, or is this not my moment? And do I care if this flip goes against me? And that was the other thing that I feel that I did right, and in a way I baited Trevor into burning cards wastefully. Which again, it all went my way. It's awful when a game is one-sided like that, and like I say, I did feel a bit bad for Trevor, but as he said when he posted it in our club Discord, by turn 3 he'd been pretty much fucking creamed out of the game. It wasn't going his way.
He knew what was happening.
Yeah. But, and again, here is the other thing. So for those of you who are new to Malifaux, haven't played Malifaux, the other thing I like about Malifaux is the best way to lose Malifaux is to go at it hammer and tongs and try and kill your opponent without focusing on what you've actually got to do to score points. Because you can win Malifaux with no models on the table. Being tabled is irrelevant. If you scored more points before you got tabled and you denied your opponent scoring opportunities by taking out their key models, you can still win the game. And I've often fallen in the trap with Trevor's warband of getting stuck in for a scrap and forgetting, oh shit, no, I need to do this. And why am I getting bogged down here? I need to be over there doing that. And I didn't make that mistake on Monday, but Trevor, bizarrely enough, did. He ended up getting fixated on trying to kill my beat stick models, and it wasted all of his resources and time.
Paul's just called you out for creaming Trevor.
Yeah, there was no preposition there, so I creamed him. I did it cream on, up, in. There was none of that.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Hello, Crispin. I thought creaming would bring you out of the woodwork, mate. Good evening. Because of Ben stroke Crispin, that might confuse everybody. Cream pot. Oh God, why? So yeah, that's what I did at club. What about you, mate? What did you do at club?
As I just said, I'm on a little bit of a Flames of War high at the moment. So this week I was introducing Ricky to Flames of War. Because Ricky is looking at Team Yankee, which is a very similar system, just more modern. So I said to him, well, I've got Flames. Let's play some Flames, see if you like it. Because again, Ricky can be one of these guys that bounces quite hard and fast off a game.
Yeah, Ricky's a lucky bastard.
It and he enjoyed it. I lost for the first time ever playing Flames.
You lost to a newbie?
I lost to a newbie, but I was playing your Germans, and the formation the German faction bought just broke. It just fell over.
Hey, that was my German faction that you played.
I know it was your German faction.
You were piloting them terribly. It was all your fault.
No, because the Tigers took out the Pershings.
Yeah, as they're supposed to do.
My Stugs hid and waited until his Pershings arrived, and what else did they go jump? Calliopes, because they were just being fucking irritating.
Yeah, they always
sat
are.
In the back lines, shooting the shit out of stuff.
Oh. I don't like my bloody magnifier like the last one. The last one was better. I'm gonna have.
Oh, shut up! Right, actually, before the news, have you got the shaker?
Hang on. Did you say you wanted the Oh, are you going to get salty?
Yes, I'm about to get very fucking salty.
Get salty. Where are we?
Salt me up, bitch.
Okay, seasonings out. Now what are you going to have a rant about?
Modifius again.
Change the fucking record.
No, right. 4th July emailed them, did not get an answer. So I then prompted them with an answer on the 5th.
Spam says, I love a cream pie. No, Spam, that's not what he meant.
So
David will explain
I
later.
emailed them on the 15th going, why has nobody bothered to reply to my email? I got an apology saying it's still waiting for stock to arrive. It's expected to be in by the end of July. I can understand it.
What,
it must
July
be 2027? We can cancel your order and fully refund it. I'm sorry for the wait. No, I don't want the order cancelling. I would actually like to receive some customer service and communication from yourselves regarding delays, rather than me repeatedly chasing you guys for an answer, being not told the entire truth again. Fully understanding if you guys are currently moving warehouse and there's delays with reorders, etc. But why do I have to find out that kind of information via social media rather than from the customer service team? I'm wholeheartedly disappointed in the service received thus far from Modifius, something you were fully aware of on the telephone call that we had in June regarding the lack of communication over my order. Yeah?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
bearing in mind, Fallout Factions on pre-order has been delayed by a few weeks because of the fact that they're moving warehouse. So not salty about that for Fallout Factions and all the guys that pre-order it. Her response to me 2 days ago, I understand where your frustration comes from. Our current system only allows us to send emails and updates to customers on their pre-orders. Because this product is not a new product, but a restock of an existing old product, we cannot send you an email. In the recent months, we have been busy with restocking a lot of the Fallout line products, and even the factory has had to employ extra staff to speed up the production process. We update on delays / expected shipping dates on our social media, Modifius web store, and through generic emails. Apologies, we could not email each customer personally about the delay with the production of the Raiders core set. I had a meeting with the team and I've passed on your feedback, and this is something we definitely need to do better with, updating customers on any delay with their orders.
Okay, so hang on a minute. Go on then, finish off.
We also asked the new warehouse if they can identify all affected orders and email customers if of their orders being delayed. We're looking at how to solve this issue. Once again, apologies. We don't want customers to feel unhappy with our service. Firstly, none of their social media has had anything detailing delays on Raiders core set.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. For her to use that as a get out, did you then find a news article that listed your particular product as a long delay? Answer, no. Okay,
yeah,
so
no.
That doesn't work then, does it?
No. And again, yes, I appreciate the web store's there, and I'm checking the web store to get up to date on it. But fuck you guys. Genuinely, I will never be ordering from Modifius ever again. This is taking the piss. I ordered this stuff in May. Apparently, it should be shipping at the end of July. If it's not in my hand by fucking August, they're going to get a rocket.
The thing is, what is this, the 4th date you've had?
4th email. End of May, beginning of June, end of June. Now it's July. And it's a shame. It's a fucking crying shame because the miniatures are good, but the customer service is bollocks.
What's stupid is if you'd have gone through a third party, we've said this before on stream, if you'd have gone through a third party, you probably would have got a straighter answer from, bloody Goblin or, they would have said, yeah, they're saying June, but in our experience, don't bother with that, mate. It'll be August before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, I was looking at Core Hall's Cthulhu on Kickstarter. No. If I can't even do a restock properly, what fucking hope have I got for a Kickstarter?
Well, to be fair, that I can understand that reaction. And again, yeah, Goblin or Wayland are both good. I like Goblin personally a lot. Excuse me. Ooh, a rocket. Cheesy, that's cheeky. Cheesy says to Paul, "Do you have customers?" Rude.
Paul's response is the best, though.
Yeah. Cheesy says they're becoming like that website for rating paint jobs. You mean Cool Mini or not? Oh dear. Yeah. Well, mate. So I said effectively, I don't need to worry about painting my stuff anytime soon, then, because you haven't got yours.
No, I've got one half of it, but not necessarily the half I want to play with. It's fucking stupid. It's really stupid.
The thing is, as well, having already spoken to that one once, I can totally see, we don't email everybody. Do you know what, though? surely if you've got a pissed off customer, you make a special case for them. Can't you just give?
And this isn't just customer service going, oh fuck it, we'll go deal with the next one. This is the finance director. Okay, it might not be her job to do customer service 24/7, but why don't you pass me on to somebody who fucking does?
Oh, there's an insight. Is it actually so? She obviously mentioned about the production team being under stressed and getting like recruiting new. Maybe what they've done is pulled a load of the customer service team into production.
Maybe.
You know.
But also from the fact that she said delivery makes me think that these are not even being manufactured in the UK.
True. Possible. Well, no, because that guy at UKGE assured us they were being made while we were there talking to him.
Yeah, but why would they be being delivered?
Yeah.
If they're made in-house by the production team, why are they being delivered?
Do you mean delivered to customers, maybe? He said, tried to be generous.
No.
Okay, so you've got that off your chest. Should we do some news?
No, I'm pissed off. I'm really pissed off.
Dear, what are they saying in the chat? Paul, you're not helping. Paul says the Raider miniatures and rules are sick.
Thanks, Paul.
He wouldn't know, Paul, because he hasn't got either, mate. Then we got Darren saying that apparently Justin eats Tim's sweets. I don't even know what that's about. I've obviously missed something.
Again, oh, well, we can't email you because it's a restock. I'm sorry, what? So you don't, basically what you're saying there is, unless you've pre-ordered stuff, we don't actually give a fuck about you.
I must confess, that comment I don't understand. And the thing is, as well, she says in her email, our system can only do it for pre-orders. Okay.
Yeah, but again, this Raiders thing is classified as a pre-order on their website. So what the fuck is it? It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, sweetheart.
Well, not only that. I mean, knowing how IT systems are set up, if you've got a capability within an IT system, surely it doesn't take, much recoding or tweaking to actually make that a feature of other aspects of the system. And you're not telling me they run separate software or databases for their pre-orders. That wouldn't make a lot of fucking sense.
Well, no, because it's all done through the same web store. You don't go to a specific separate website to pay for pre-orders.
That has the smell of crap about it. And at least if she thinks...
And again, I've been reasonable so far. I apologise for if my email came across ranty the other week. I've been more than reasonable and said, like, I totally get if you guys are moving warehouse, etc., and there is associated delays. But stop bullshitting me and actually be transparent with me.
I must confess, do you know what? That's something that does annoy me, is like, bearing in mind this is the 4th sort of delivery date they've given for this product. They must have realised at some point that their delivery estimates were way too optimistic, unless you happen to have hit the only kit in the Fallout Wasteland Warfare line that they've managed to completely screw up supply and demand on, which I'm sure is unlikely. And you just think, after you've done it the first time, why don't you just go long? Just say, oh, look, it could be as much as a month more. Do you know what I mean? Just be honest with the customer, because then if they ask for the refund, or if they say, oh, that's too long, can I have my money back? That's where she's at now anyway. But she's had like four bad emails about it. It's like, just come clean early.
And getting roasted on here for it as well.
Well, she won't worry about that, mate. There's only 10 people who watch us.
No, but the point being,
Calm down. It's not mini wargaming.
Our following is very cancelling, and we may be cancelling Modifius at this rate.
Oh dear. Fucking hell. Our fucking following would be like to cancel us, the Modifius. The big fucking unpredictable bunch that they are. Should we cover some news?
No.
I'm trying to think if there's any news that's going to make you super salty as well. Let's do what Shark. Let's get into what Shark was talking about earlier.
Bolt action.
So yeah, bolt action. Yeah, Butler. Right. Where are
Actually, yeah, let's get fucking salty about this because I still haven't played a game of second edition with my shit. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Oh, fuck, what have I done? Well, hang on.
Tonight is the salt stream.
Let's cue. Here we go, look. Okay. Here we go. So here's the news, and I've even put David's salt on. I'm seasoning him up. Ready.
Right, what is this bolt action news, sir? Let's get the fucking...
Dear. So, Shark pointed it out earlier in the chat. There has been another news drop for bolt action 3rd edition. This time they've done a little article on their Warlord community site about machine guns and how they are going to work in the new edition. So there's a couple of important things. I'll just stop the salt shaker till David gets cracking, and then I can always restart it again. Stop. Basically, long story short, medium machine guns are getting an extra dice, so they're going from 5 dice to 6 base. I
fucking called it last week.
Yeah, you did. I've played a bit of bolt action. I'm not sure I've played enough bolt action to know whether that's a massive change or not. I feel that...
I would argue yes.
Do you think just 1 extra dice is enough?
Yes, because if you're shooting at fucking inexperienced teams, that's an extra hit.
Well, no, because I mean, you could be hitting on 6s with going down and cover and range.
Yeah, but say you're not doing that.
I mean, yeah, in an ideal situation for you, no cover, short range, an opponent standing there waving his genitals at you, you're hitting on a 3, so that's like 66% chance of getting another wound.
Every other round you're killing a guy extra.
I just think it would have been better. I think it would have leaned more into the way machine guns feel they should work, as if they machine guns gave an extra pin. Although I was watching an article, a guy who was covering this on YouTube. He said the problem with that is it cascades, because like if machine guns then give extra pins, autocannons, which are like the sort of the lowest of the HE weapons, because they do D2 pins, I think. They suddenly seem underpowered.
They need to go to D3, D4.
Do you know what I mean? And it just pushes everything up, which I sort of get. The thing that's bigger, and I'm more interested in terms of the machine guns, is that they have dramatically changed the way they operate on vehicles. So effectively, what they've seemed to have done is, if a machine gun is fitted to a vehicle, because machine guns on mobile platforms are inherently less accurate, were used differently during engagements, they are halving the number of shots. So it's gonna make machine guns mounted on vehicles way
I'm gonna turn
less
around
effective.
and say that's fucking horrible. Bearing in mind British Airborne, you used to throw machine guns on your jeeps, drive through the middle of the city centre.
Yeah.
Yes, they weren't the most effective, but at least it gave you some options of getting shots out and pinning.
Do you know what? The other thing that I thought of in exactly the same way is poor old Ricky's SAS.
Yep.
Ricky's SAS lists, the sort of cornerstone of the
I mean, again, LDR group did the raid on the airfield where they bundled a fucking shit ton of guys in about 20 jeeps, fucking raided a German airfield, wrecked a load of planes, etc., with machine guns on the fucking car on the jeeps, and again,
yeah.
the guy realised that again the driver doesn't need both hands to steer; he can fucking just be shooting machine guns, etc., into planes and blowing them up. And oh yeah, that's not a thing now.
Well, it's still obviously you could still do it. You can still put.
No, but it's
Still
not a
put
thing
four.
because
You
it's
can still put
inefficient.
3
It's a
medium
waste.
machine guns. You could put 3 medium machine guns and a Vickers on an SAS Jeep, but
Yeah, but it's going to be a
the
waste
damage
of points.
output's going to go way down. And I'm not joking. I mean, I'm not being funny, but the SAS are already a finesse list to play. They require some serious work to get working, and to what else do they have? They have very small elite squads, which pack a punch up close. But if you take away their fast machine gun bristling vehicles, Christ, are they going to get nerf hammered into the ground? I don't know. I mean, like I say, I've played the SAS list against Ricky to play against his Germans. I've played it. I've had Ricky play it against me, and it already seems like playing bolt action on fucking hard mode to do it. But I don't know. I mean, I think in general it's a great idea because Shark called it out there. There's already, is it the Stuarts, Daka? The Stuart Shark. They're the Stuart tanks. You can put a ridiculous number of machine guns on a Stuart, front mounted and coax and bullshit. And basically people would take in dirt cheap Stuart platforms bristling with machine guns, and basically they're like heavily armored, and they're putting out a ton of shots. Whereas and obviously they wanted to nerf that
by changing the fucking Stuart rather than fucking hitting all of the vehicles.
Yeah, I guess.
It seems that they've taken a very wide, tarry brush to do something that could have been dealt with a scalpel.
Yeah, it doesn't seem a particularly finessed approach, but like I say, I am not gonna the M3 Stuart Death Star. Yeah, thanks, Damon.
I'm not being funny, but it's as you've already called it. The fucking
we've obviously got
SAS and Airborne are finesse lists, because again we don't have access to bazookas and everything else as easily.
Well, even if you do, you guys are so fucking expensive. It's like.
Well, again, £6 a Jeep, £6 a gun with a Jeep as a tow for it, with a machine gun on it, so that the Jeep can actually be useful once he gets the gun into position. Yeah, pointless even spending the points on the gun now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've obviously got some bolt action people in the chat. Shark, you mentioned it first. Do you have an opinion, mate? Do you want to throw that in the chat for us? And anybody else who wants to wade in, what do you guys think? I mean, the other thing I will say, the article does sort of spoil that there might be more rules coming. Almost like there might be a change. There might be more changes to the way shooting works because they haven't sort of declared the shooting. They haven't given us the shooting phase rules. Yeah, like you guys were saying in the last show, tournament nonsense. Light tanks are useful and better than nothing for sure, but they're not the kings of a battlefield. Yeah, that has to grind anyone that knows their history, Yeah. That, again, it's like the old, the Death Star Stuarts. I don't know how historically accurate it is that somebody says, oh, do you know what would be really good is to just put nothing but medium machine guns poking out of every vision slit on this Stuart. What about the cannon? Fuck that. Just leave the ammo at home. We need some more machine gun rounds. I don't know how realistic or historically accurate that is. Yeah,
I mean, again,
Damon. Yeah, Damon's
I-
on the same page as me. He says bolt action is supposed to be an infantry skirmish game. Vehicle should be secondary. It looks like the new. That's the thing that I'm, and I said this before any of this was spoiled, Damon. The one change I like bolt action as it is. I don't think it needs a huge amount of changes. The one thing I do like to see change, and to be fair, one of the things, as for those who watched last week's stream, we may end up as a group of players making an informal decision to actually scrap armor and just say we're not going to bring it. And if we want to play with armor, we'll play a game that's designed for armor, like Flames
looking at you at Flames
or Battlefront or one of the other ones that was suggested last week. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Shark saying that all this tournament stuff is historically irrelevant and nonsensical. I mean, there's another couple of things in the report, in the intelligence report, as they swankily call it. They've got rid of now one thing that has gone. They say that the exceptional damage rule has gone, so no more rolling a 6 into a 6 and choosing which model you kill. Whether that's gone from snipers, I don't know. Whether they'll retain the rule in some sort of like special way, but they did say from generic shooting there will be none of that shit anymore. Whoa, what's happened to my browser?
I mean, that's good because it did slow the game down a bit, but it didn't slow the game down that much.
I think that the reason for taking it out was they were having problems with people taking snipers who were then basically saying, I shoot your machine gun team and destroy it in one shot. I shoot your artillery piece and destroy it in one shot. That's, I think, the reason that rule is gone. And beyond it, I'll be honest, it's a bit like, we've discussed this on the stream before. Do you know what it reminded me of, mate? Crits. Because that's effectively what it is, isn't it? Oh, I rolled a 6 and then I rolled a 6. I got a critical hit, so I can choose to kill your NCO, or I can choose to kill... It's like, no, I don't like crit rules. You did a casualty, fine. You kill one of my men, well done. And if it was my machine gunner, hey, here's an idea. He's going to pick up the fucking machine gun or the ammo box and go with him. So I still have my light machine gun support. It's like, you know. Yeah. So, Damon's saying we play bolt action with 3 players aside, 30 to 40 figures each, sometimes a couple of vehicles. I mean, again, I don't mind soft skin stuff, jeeps, trucks, where you're using a vehicle as a deployment tool or something like that. Absolutely
again,
cool.
open top amphibia stuff, you don't mind.
Bikes even. I just think, having played enough bolt action, the problem is I think we talked about this last week when we talked about a bolt action game. What I find is this: in the generic reinforced platoon, you can bring a piece of armor. So what happens is players A and B, they armor, have a little mini game, and whichever piece of armor wins and the other gets taken out, then the other remaining surviving piece of armor is a paste in the arse for the rest of the game. And it's sort of like, why do you want your whole fucking game dominated by this mini side game? The best outcome is that these both keep fluffing their roles and don't actually kill each other, and they basically take themselves out of the game. And I thought, well, if that's the best outcome, I've got an idea. I'll just take them out the fucking game. It's sort of like, but as I say, so exceptional damage rule is gone. The other thing that they're getting rid of, and again, I'm totally pro this, there is a rule in bolt action where if you shoot at a group of models that is 2 men or less, you get an additional -1 to hit. 99% of the time when you're playing in the heat of the game, you forget it. At least I do. It's one of the most often forgotten modifiers for shooting in bolt action, in my experience. It's really janky. So you're like, oh, my mortar team's 3 strong. Oh, but you've killed one, so now you get -1 to hit it again. It's like, and I get why it's there. It's to make weapon teams more survivable than they would be without it. I just don't like it. I think it's a daft rule. Just give fucking teams, weapon teams, or special or officer cadres or whatever you want to do. Give anything that's not a core unit -1 to hit or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't fucking
bake it into the unit.
Yeah, don't make it conditional on the number of fucking models. It's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, I want not gutted to see the back end of that. That can be gone, foul demon. So yeah, that's first piece of news. Look at us waffling on. It's 10-2. Let's blitz through the rest. So that's the first thing. Again, good to see. It's good to see that they're dribbling stuff out a bit at a time. But I can't wait to see something substantial for the 3rd edition. This I wanted to shout out because I've never seen this before. So this was a number one. I've never seen this guy's YouTube channel before. It's a guy called Scruffy Crow. About 4,000 subscribers, so not a microscopic channel. And he did basically he's done a review and a paint up of an MDF kit from a company called Products for Wargamers. Now, sadly, there is a link in the YouTube description, but the website is currently down. But I tell you what, this is the painted version towards the end of the video. He's basically done, like I was saying, I was going to try, I don't know if I said it on stream or off now, but my next few kits, I'm going to really experiment with painting on the sprue to see if I can speed up my painting of MDF kits. And that's exactly what this guy's done here. Colour Forge rattle cans and paint 90% painting on sprue. But I tell you what, I've never come across this MDF range before, but not only do these buildings look fucking beautiful, they design and assemble really well. I am really impressed with the engineering and design that's gone into this. So Darren already says he's watched Scruffy Crow for years. It's an amazing hobby channel. I've now caught up to it. The site is a victim of that guy who's gone off on a cruise, hosted by the Web Elf. You guys have lost me. The in jokes are fucking deep in now.
Ow, my eye.
Okay, so
crunchy.
But yeah, and during the video he sort of says, "Oh, this will be great for X, Y, and Z game," and then he mentioned burrows and badgers, and I thought, ooh. So
man's got a point.
I don't know. Does anybody in the chat know where this company distributes their stuff now? Because obviously their website's down. Do they have an eBay shop or something like that? Does anybody know? Because the one thing I don't know is how expensive this stuff is, but it does look very smart. I tell you what, as well, there's some this is obviously some sort of town gatehouse portcullis style building. But if you see the arches, the legs of the arches, those are actually just the medieval building parts. So he's just reusing other kits to make bigger kits. The design looks fucking clever. And I love the way everything interlocks. His sort of pegging, I nearly said it. His system for securing the layers together is very clever and very secure.
Right.
Oh, I see. Oh, so you guys are saying about the website. The reason the website's down is it's one hosting company who does a load of similar, and they've all basically died on their ass as a guy's gone abroad, and there is no support. Oh, mate, that's got a sting. What the fuck? Yes, no, I didn't say it, Cheese Me. I stopped myself, so that's on you. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, bless them. Fuck. Well, I tell you what, I hope it doesn't jeopardize this guy's business because I am really impressed with his products and I want to get some. What else have we got here? This, oh my God, this is one of those videos where I'm already a member of a couple of groups on Facebook of people who build pimped out Space Hulk tables. Hands up in the chat if you are as old as I am, and one of the things you've always wanted to do since you were a teenager was build a full 3-dimensional fucking Space Hulk board that looks the absolute bomb. This is Eons of Battle who have done. They're really into in their subscription model. They're really into giving you 3D printables. So they have created their own set of doors and junctions and rooms, sections.
Oh, bollocks.
And this video, creating the Ultimate Space Hulk board, oh my God, it's an absolute fucking orgy of awesomeness. It's absolutely fucking amazing. This is such a good.
Is that gone in your wank bank, sir?
It's gone right to the top. Fucking hell. And I tell you what, in terms of Evening Taros, in terms of hobby, I tell you what I did like. Number one, they did 3 separate zones to the map. So they did like a prestige, sort of like a stateroom look where they did like a faux marble floor and everything's gold and bronze.
Yeah.
Then they did a white sort of like technical level sort of corridors and doors where everything looks like the sort of like living areas of the Nostromo. And the way he painted them was fucking genius because basically you just had a cream rattle can and a white rattle can and was basically spraying stuff randomly half and half, cream and white, so that it developed a natural gradient, and then just basically acrylic washed the fucking lot and then airbrushed for a couple of details like some lights. And
nice.
The actual the sort of like hobby breakdown of how they've painted everything is very impressive. So don't often recommend Eons of Battle, but this video is just fucking awesome. And it's the only thing I will say, their finished product is a bit big. I mean, he says that he wanted to create the squares on the Space Hulk map big enough so that even the largest Space Marines could fit. Well, they fit with at least like half an inch clear around them on the floor. I mean, you could have easily done this at like 60%, I think, and it still would have been playable, but you would have been able to get anything but the tiniest map on a 6x8 because it's pretty fucking huge. So David, if you want to go and get all these 3D models, feel free to do that. What are you doing painting? You're supposed to be downloading 3D models, mate.
Why am I your fucking dealer?
Damn. Okay, well, it was worth a try, wasn't it, lads? This one's yours, so over to you. So
Victus, oh my God, I saw this on Instagram yesterday when I was having a doom scroll. Fucking
Hi, Chris.
gorgeous little mini for Frostgrave here, I was thinking. Nice little thug with his little hand axe and his little impromptu fucking bucket for a helmet. Absolutely gorgeous.
Jerry would approve of the base.
Is usually quite good.
Jerry would approve of the base.
So yeah, that was just something I saw on my travels that I quite like the look of.
And you don't actually subscribe to this. Is Vavik just like a Patreon for 3D prints, or is?
Yeah, it is. It's just one that I don't subscribe to unless there's a month that I really like.
So you tend to just drop in and drop out. Can you buy the models separately?
Yes,
as well?
I should be able to buy the models separately through my mini factory.
Oh, okay. So you've got plenty of options for picking it up if you just want this one, then.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Right.
Right.
It's 9 o'clock. Have we done the news?
We have. Do you know what? That's the last one because there's only one more, and it relates to the main topic, a clock. I'm just gonna indulge myself. You talk amongst yourselves because I just want to blend out this grey splodge on this building, and then I'm gonna.
Are you a 3D printing dude, Shark?
Do you dabble with the ones and the zeros? We're a fairly divided crowd here. Crispin, because of Ben, as you'll see him in the chat, he's a bit of a 3D printer nerd.
Chris, myself.
So we're fairly evenly. We're fairly evenly divided. So which camp are you in, Shark? And you, Damon? Are you a 3D printer or are you a ones and zeros a phobe? Are you? I only buy it if somebody else did the fucking work. Oh, Shark's like me then. You'll buy 3D printed stuff, but you're not going to print it yourself. Good for you, mate. That's the thing that scares me about it. The amount of time. I don't have time to do all the shit I want to do without picking something else that I've got to spend a ton of time doing. Right. So here we go. Uncle Atom's video. He on Friday, I'm sure you guys all know, but just in case you're watching in YouTube land for the first time and you have no idea who this person is, this is Uncle Atom and his channel Tabletop Minions. 250,000 subscribers, just a small YouTube channel out there. Every Friday he puts out a video. He's also part of Snarling Badger Game Design Studio with Vince Venturella.
Him and Vincey Venturella.
Yeah. So the guy's a content creator, war game designer, just general chap who's been around forever in the industry and inspiring people. It makes a great video, so you should definitely go and check out his channel. But his one on Friday was really good. Basically, because he's as he says in the video, because he's been focusing a lot on game design recently, they've just released Death Wizards, is it? Their third game?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so they've got Space Station Zero was the second game, Death Wizards is the new one, and then they had a demon game. I apologise.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
I apologise, Uncle Atom, but I've forgotten the name of your first game. But it'll come to me. Somebody might put it in the chat if they're feeling really good. Damon says, bought some printed bits, but otherwise not a big priority at the minute. That's fair enough, mate. I think for me, 3D printing, where it's going to really be something I'm going to buy big or get into big, is terrain. Because you can really do some great terrain options for next to no. So let's first do a response to Uncle Atom's 3 choices, which I put on our thumbnail. So Uncle Atom's first game mechanic that he wanted to see the back of or never wants to see again is custom dice. So do you want to go first, mate? What do you think to custom dice?
The custom dice. I know he references in the video itself Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and there is the conversion table. I think that is a good example. I think the FFG is an even better example.
Yeah,
because there's not even a translation or a lookup table to convert FFG dice. Yeah. Whereas at least with Fallout, they have done a conversion table for their D12s and their D20s.
To be fair, though, I don't think you could do one for any of the Star Wars or AMG games.
But the thing I find interesting here is, what's Atom's stance on Gaslands dice?
Well, he doesn't mention them. He doesn't mention them, but presumably he'd be against them. But I mean, what about you? Would you put this on your list? What do you think?
Yeah.
Is it custom dice? If you never see another game with custom dice, are you okay with that?
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, Blood Bowl, again, only being usable and playable for Blood Bowl. Yeah. The Fallout stuff only being playable for Fallout. It's annoying.
Rain in hell. Thank you, Darren.
Yes.
Sorry, carry on.
What it is.
Yes.
It's annoying. I wouldn't necessarily say it's in the top 10, but it's probably in the top 20.
No, do you know what? I would say no. I don't think he's right. But then there was one thing that gave me pause, and I'm gonna say that he is right. I'm a bit like you. It's not on the list yet, but if the industry keeps pushing it, then it will quickly get on the list.
Well, it comes
can
to...
you guess which game changed it for me?
The Corvus Belly new one.
Yes, you got it. Me, I personally, I played X-Wing. David's made a great example there with the Gaslands, which are basically D6 with like the symbols on. I get Uncle Atom's point, which is it's just another thing for you to have to buy. But fuck me, how expensive are a few dice? You know, so even when companies are milking it, you're talking about a few quid. Next to the fucking cost of the miniatures, they generally pale into insignificance. And they're the kind of thing you buy once and you're done for playing the game. So would I have put it in my top 3 things I never want to see again? No way. But I'm going to say Warcrow, warning shot is fired. Okay? Warcrow has got 2 or 3 symbols on some of the dice faces.
Intelligible to read as well. That's the problem I find with the Warcrow ones. You just struggle to read them.
Yeah.
They're tiny little symbols.
You know.
You've got the same symbol in 2 different manners because one's filled in, one's not filled in. That depends on how that is.
Exactly.
And I think part of this comes down to the fact that you can't copyright game design, but you can copyright your dice.
Well, not only that, I mean, even if you want to play with the mathematics, I'm a complete game nerd. If you say you want to play with the game mathematics and you want to have a D6 where you've got 3 of one face, 2 of another face, 1 of another face. So effectively, when you throw that dice, you've got a 50% outcome, a 33% outcome, and a 16.7% outcome, whatever it is. And you can, you know, that's a really unusual probability spread on an outcome. Okay? But, and I'm fine with that. Where it's starting for me, where I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely not, is like David has said, well, this D8 has got some of these symbols are filled in and some of them are not. And then as well as the filled in symbols, you might have an exclamation mark or you might not. And then
and the fucking symbols, good because the symbols are actually intelligible and readable.
You know, it's like, okay, hang on. We've taken the idea and we're starting to be fucking ridiculous where I would sooner even you roll 2 sets of dice. You roll blue dice and red dice, and the exclamation marks are on the blue, and the fucking success symbols are on the red. I would sooner do that. But fucking to create this fucking Frankenstein of interwoven, interlocked fucking game mechanics is like, no, stop. Absolutely not. I mean, again, that's what Modiphius have done. All of their different colours do different things, isn't it? It's like, I don't know what the actual colours are because we've not played the game much, but it's like, the green dice are armour boosts.
White, blue.
It's and the blue dice are the accuracy and the yellow dice are the special effects. And it's like, yeah, it's very cute. I mean, generally, I would give it a pass. Definitely, should it be on the top 3? For me, no. For you, presumably, no as well, mate. Definitely not a top 3.
It is a no for me, but it is in the top 10 probably, or top 20.
So, Uncle Atom's second one was I Go, You Go. Do you want me to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
Now, I didn't put
it. No, I'll go actually.
Go on then.
No, I'm taking the piss because it's I Go, You Go.
I see what you did there. Cheese me. I will ask you guys. I will ask you guys what you think of the themed Warcrow week in a minute. Because I'll be interested to know actually. I go, you go. I'm with him. I didn't put it in my top 3 because we're going to have our top 3 later. But I only didn't put it in there because he's already said it, and it seems stupid to basically just echo what he's said. But should this be here? Yes, this should be here. Now, does it mean that every game that uses I go, you go is shit? Absolutely not. If anybody ever gets into an argument with me about this, I just go Kings of War. Okay? Kings of War uses I go, you go for a reason. Because it delineates player space. It allows tournaments to play on a chess clock. Because it's like, this is your game time. This got fuck all to do with me. You play on your clock. When you're finished fucking about, I will go. So there is a reason for it. It works in the game. I don't think the game suffers for being I go, you go. It makes the tournament presentation of the game basically work. Without it, it wouldn't work. But having said that, if I never play another I go, you go game, I'm fine. Alternating. The problem with I go, you go is as soon as your game gets over.
Hang on. Whoa. So you would never play another game of Infinity?
No. I didn't
that is
say
I go,
no.
That is,
no,
that is
I said
that is I go, you go. That
but
is
it
I go,
is,
you
it
go.
is, but again,
just be careful what fucking you are throwing around here.
No, I just said that if I never pick up another rule set with I go, you go, I'm fine. I don't want to see any more games explore I go, you go. Now, Infinity works because of the whole ARO mechanic and the fact that there is interactivity. And just as I was about to say, my main issue with I go, you go has nothing to do with alpha strikes. It has nothing to do with balance issues. It has nothing to do with any of that. The issue is player downtime for the opponent. It's exactly the same. If anybody who's into board games wants to go and check out some of the game reviews, say particularly like big board games that play over 3 or 4 hours with 4 or 5 players, you will find one of the things that very quickly makes a board game fall from popularity is huge downtime between player turns. So like because the vast majority of board game experiences are I go, you go. Okay. And it works better in it works okay in board games as long as designers are constantly mindful of how much dead time are we creating for the other 3 or 4 people at this table. Because once it starts to balloon, people will quickly walk away from your fucking game because they have other options. And I think this is the big issue with war games. And as soon as you start to attack a game of any kind of scale, you've got to ask the question, what's that guy doing for the next 25 minutes? Watching me play? Awesome. That's fun. So for that reason, I go, you go is on my list. What do you say, mate?
I go, you go is nowhere near my list. I couldn't give a flying fuck
controversy.
The main reason being, games like Flames, games like Infinity, I don't mind a bit of downtime because it gives me chance and opportunity to plan my turn, thinking about what the opponent is doing.
Okay, good pushback.
When I'm trying to do that on the fly, because again, bolt action being a prime example here, how order dice are being pulled from the bag, there is no sort of downtime to go, oh, well, actually, do you know what I mean? Because it's so variable and chaotic, you could end up 4 or 5 units on the bounce and go, well, I didn't want that, because now I'm telegraphing the perfect position and the opportunity for scoring, and this is a this is a problem now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, and that was a very good pushback. I'll give you that. Give you all of that. That was very good. That was well argued. So for you, for those reasons, you would keep it off your list.
Yeah, I
Do you know what?
don't mind.
They're sound reasons, mate. I totally agree with you about. Again, that is, you're right. Like if you're a clever player and you know you've got a bit of downtime coming, why don't you just think about what you're going to be doing when your turn comes, so that you can do your activations quick. I mean, that is just as true of players with games with alternating activations. If you watch what the opponent's doing and immediately think, okay, well, the next thing I'm going to do is move him into that space, or attack him with that. At least if you, why not think about it while he's working?
The flip side is on a alternating activation game.
Oh,
you don't occasionally get that time to react to it and plan your execution, because we're back on your turn now. So you're sat there going, well, I've got these 3 choices here, and what am I actually going to do with the analysis paralysis? Good shout there, Spam. Of fuck. What?
So, but does I go Yuko help with analysis paralysis because you have a ton of time to think, or does it make it worse because you have a ton of time to think?
I think it depends on the player, and again, how comfortable you are with the rule set.
Okay.
Because to begin with Flames, when I was a bit out of my depth and not fully aware of what was going on and what was happening, I did take some time and going through. Now I'm very familiar with my army. It's a case of bang, 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 we're done. I know what I'm doing as my opponent's moving shit into position.
Before we move on to number 3, I think it was Cheese Me said, yeah, but no, it doesn't, Cheese Me, because you only move 1 piece. Chess is alternating activation. Don't pull that shit with me, mate. I don't move all of my 16 pieces, then you move all of your 16 pieces. That's not how chess works. Stop that. Can I ask you guys, so we were pretty hard on Warcrow. Sorry, Corvus. Still love Infinity. Still think it's the best miniatures war game.
Warcrow's a pile of shit. There we go. We said it.
But we were pretty hard on Warcrow. For you guys who've seen the coverage on OTT, what do you guys think of Warcrow? Those of you that have an opinion, just asking out of interest, please put it in the chat below.
Asking for a friend.
And if you're watching later on YouTube, by all means, I would love to know what people are thinking about Warcrow at the moment. From David and I were a bit no, but I'd love to know.
I mean, I'm just going to come to Hans's comment here of trench offensive doesn't give you time, but trench offensive, as we've said before on the channel, is a 30-minute re-rack game.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what happens, and if you get your ass handed to you in the first game, because you can go again and again and again in a club night.
Yeah.
When you have alternating activations in a game that's 2 or 3 hours long, and 1 or 2 of those activations could have really changed the game, but you rushed through and picked something else instead. We've had Frostgrave games where we've gone, oh, fuck, I should have activated with that as a group activation, as a prime example of pulling the wrong mini in with the Wizard or the Apprentice in a group activation.
Yeah, I think that is an important thing to remember, Paul. Like you say, your game, and again, your game's got a lot of DNA with board gaming. It runs at such a pace. A lot of this, what we're talking about, doesn't really apply, because you literally can just plow through it and then.
Because again, we come to Flames. I know I keep banging on about it.
Cheese me.
Because I'm
see what cheese me. Terrible.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
Cards.
We'll come to that in a minute. Flames. Yes, it is I go, you go. But if you take your fucking eye off the objective, you're fucked. Because it goes to sudden death, and whoever scores it first wins.
I do like that about Flames. I do like that it ends so apocalyptic quickly. Yeah, it's like it's one of my favourite things about Flames, because it's a very brave design decision to make the ending just come up and smack you in the face.
Just bitch slap you down.
Yeah, but I do like it. I like it a lot.
So Uncle Atom's third.
So Uncle Atom's third one was a bit of a weird one. So basically what he said was he doesn't like war games, where you don't get a ton of options in your list building. And his example was the change from old kill team to the new kill team. So like under the old kill team, you could effectively take, you had, I don't know, fucking
everything in the kitchen sink,
points.
And you could pick a fucking Termy with a Thunderhammer and a Storm Shield. You could pick a Scout Sniper. You could pick a Flaming Assault Marine with the Jump Pack, and there's 3/4 of your fucking Space Marine list.
And then with the new one, you have to take like 3 bog standard intercessors, and then 3 assault marines, all the same, but you have to take it in groups.
Yes. I'm moving.
What do you think to this one? As I went first before, what do you think to this as a game mechanic you don't want to see?
I can see his point, but I'm gonna hard counter this with something we have discussed, and it will probably be coming up in a stream at some point soon. How you should actually play Malifaux, of having everything in the kitchen sink, and then you pick for the particular scenario that you are playing. Because that is fucking horrible. Because if you haven't got the right mini for the game, you're gonna get bitch slapped down.
Yeah, that is a weakness of Malifaux. So for those of you who don't know, the way that Malifaux is supposed to work is that you generate your strategies and schemes, and then you choose what models you're bringing to achieve the mission. Is how it's supposed to work. So, as David's just said, if you have a massive collection, if you only own 1 master and box and a support box, and like that's your entire collection, Yabu sucks to be you. The only thing that you do have to declare, I believe, in Malifaux before anything is generated is the faction. So your opponent needs to know, like you have to say, I'll be 10 Thunders. But everything else is basically, it's all fair game. Once you know what the missions are, you basically fucking you just need to pick your models for the game. So so what, mate? You don't think this is a thing?
No, not at all.
No, I'm entirely with David on this. I can see where Atom was coming from. Cheeseme says,
Cheeseme.
Night, mate. Cheeseme says there, a Spec Ops size game needs teams that are distinct. So I suppose what he's arguing is there should be customizable. Chris, David will have to answer that, because obviously I don't print. I don't want.
I will move out of shot a second, and I will get one down. Chris, bear with me.
I know what Cheeseme is trying to say. My pushback on this, or my input on this, is that I don't think it matters. It's not something for me that makes a good game or a bad game. Now, you can have games that are as granular as fuck, where you can literally pick everything that you want. Pay, oh well, it'll cost you 1 point to take a smoke grenade and 1 point to take a fucking first aid kit and whatever. I'm sure there are games out there that are good games.
Carnivale. You pick distinct models.
Yeah.
And then if you've got points left over, it's like, I'll just I'll buy a gondola or something.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrades list isn't massive, but it is fairly customizable.
Yeah.
But then again, I've played good games where it's just like, Underworlds is a great game. You just have a box of models, you open it, you play. That's it.
Yeah, Underworlds is, as you say, that very
God
discreet
Tier.
play experience.
God Tier is a
again,
great
similarly.
game. Yeah, okay. So Shark says scale and unit deployment determine the scope of the options. So what you're saying is, like, again, I suppose what you're saying is similar to me, Shark, in that it's one of them things that some systems need it, some systems don't. I mean, Infinity does it in a bit of a weird way. So with Infinity, you buy
hard pushback.
profiles. So like, then let's take for example an Oniwaban, which is an elite ninja for the JSA. There will be 4 or 5 different profiles for that ninja. You can't literally customize it. You can't take, I want a boarding shotgun and a hacking device and a smoke grenade or whatever. You could have the hacking profile, the lieutenant profile, the stealth profile, the shotgun profile, the machine gun profile, whatever. So it's sort of halfway between. I think basically I would say this is not on my list because I've seen it work. I've seen games do it well, and I've seen games do it terribly.
Well, again, I was about to say hard pushback to Uncle Atom having all of that choice in 40k and being alpha striked off the table.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously Uncle Atom feels that he wants to be able to choose the weapon loadout, armor. He wants to be able to choose on a granular level everything about every one of his models to feel he's got complete agency. Fine, if that's how he feels, fine. But do I think that that's a thing that needs addressing in wargaming? No. So that's our review of Uncle Atom's choices.
Video.
Yeah. I hope he gets to see this, and if you are watching, or respect, we are but your humble admirers.
Lonely YouTubers.
Yeah. But now let's do ours. So I'll go first if that's all right, mate. Yeah.
No, not at all, because we're going I go, you go, dickhead.
So go on then. Do you want to go with your first one?
Yeah, let's go with my
the first game mechanic that you want removed from wargaming is
modifiers that do not matter on a dice. So the main reason I'm saying this is +1s in 40k and flames are fucking huge because it's a D6 system. They're absolutely massive boons. So why are they in there? They're just so horrible. But similarly, a +1 on a D20, it's pointless. They're just not. It's just not meaningful on that dice. The +3, +6, +9, +12 mechanic that you get in Infinity works, and it makes a huge difference. But again, +1s on D6s. I'm looking at flames that I've played for 2 weeks now on the bounce. I didn't really care whether I was hitting on 4s or hitting on 6s. I was just hucking dice because eventually I'm going to make it stick. Whereas if the dice was a D10, D20, etc., probably wouldn't be hooking them so much and just hoping for the shot.
Yeah, I think there are all sorts of things. I get what you're saying, and I think you are right. Probably a better way to put it is that the modifiers need to be right for the dice system in general, don't they? So like you're saying, if you only roll one, it's like one of the things that inspires me about Infinity is what you've just highlighted. The way that all modifiers are done in steps of 3. We don't bother with 1s and 2s. It's a waste of fucking time. It's a D20, so we'll basically go in steps of 3 to make it relevant. Genius. Because I tell you what, there is a lot of that in Frostgrave. It's like, oh, well, I'll increase my fight by 1. Will you?
Well, again,
Increase your fight by 1. Woo, go you!
We've commented on it before. The chaos of Frostgrave, that a fight +1 thief can bring down a fight +4 knight.
Yeah, and one of the things that feeds into that is that the modifier system isn't particularly tuned into the dice system.
No.
You know, when you cast enchant weapon, that gives you a +1 fight. So that gives you a +1 on your D20 roll. That gives you a 5% boon. You know, in Infinity, even if you take a basic upgrade, it'll be +3 on that D20 roll. You know,
yeah,
which is
15%
like 15%. It's like, well, that boon is worth having. And to be fair, obviously, the thing about Frostgrave is it's supposed not to matter. It's a cinematic, fun game where the outcome is determined largely by the dice. There's no point piling tons of effort into your strategy. Just try and tell us a cool story and pull some cool cinematic water cooler moments off. So they are very different games. But I think your point is valid, mate, which is make your modifier system suit your dice mechanic. And when there's a disconnect, the game's a bit crap. I need to refresh my memory. What did I say my first one was? I don't want to do the second one until, because we've both got ones that are very similar, and I wanted to do them back to back.
You on about dice chains now?
That was right. Okay. Yeah, let's do dice chains. So one of the things that I want to, or I hate about a lot of war games, is what I would call a dice chain. Now, David and I have explored how much randomness is good versus how much randomness is too much fucking randomness in a game, and it just becomes irritating on various streams. But one of the things that grinds my gears is games where I roll a dice and then roll another dice and then roll another dice.
Again, flames. Roll to hit, roll to save, roll to wound, roll to regen, roll to reanimation protocols in 40k.
Yeah. It's like, why to resolve an event, why would I roll a dice 4 fucking times? I hear this. I'll be honest. I'm beginning to wonder whether this is one of the sort of like weird urban myths of wargaming. People say, "Oh, but people love chucking dice." Wait, you're telling me people love the physical activity of just chucking dice?
Go fucking play Yahtzee.
It's like, if you like,
did that spill out of my mouth? Did I not engage filter?
Well, yeah, just design a game where you have 50 dice of 2 different colours and just chuck them on the floor or something. If you like rolling dice, just go and roll dice. You know, fucking hell. There's got to be more to a war game than rolling dice. I mean, the best example of how it's become outdated and it needs reform is 40k. Like David said, you enter the combat step, you enter a shooting engagement. You have to roll to see if you hit. You then have to roll to see if your shot wounds the target. Then you need to roll to see if your target's armor defeats the shot. And then after you get through all of that, the target might have some special ability that deflects the shot or regenerates the wound or ignores the damage. So you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you compare that to a game like Infinity, where it's like, okay, what's your target number? 9. So you're rolling 3 dice looking for 9s. I'm rolling 1 dice looking for 12. Bang. And the outcome is determined. And yes, you might have to make an armor save. That's still 2 rolls. Yeah? So, please, please, please,
Oh no, you're doing a disservice to Infinity there. Guts check.
Oh,
That's
guts
the third
check.
roll.
Sorry. Yeah, guts check. Can we please be fucking done with roll again? And to be honest, it's like a lot of this is something that thankfully we are seeing designed
I'll tell
better.
you what, game that does it well, Gaslands. Roll to shoot, just one roll to save.
Yeah. And again, Kings of War. I remember the first time I saw Kings of War coming from two is ideal, I think, JJ. Two connected rolls to determine the outcome of an event. I mean, the way Frostgrave does it is like you roll your dice, compare the total, the higher wins, the difference is the damage between that and your armor. It's like it's all determined in one roll. Now that's elegant game design. I mean, it's a bit random because of the way the D20 system works, but I mean, you could do that with dice pool. What's your target number? Roll your dice. Your opponent.
Dungeon Saga. Dungeon Saga is a prime example.
Dungeon Saga had quite an elegant system.
DM rolls one set of dice, compares it to your armor stat, etc.
And then you just eliminate failures. You count your successes. Each success is a wound. There are loads of different ways to do it. And again, to be fair, even number of dice. I don't even mind dice pool games where I might have to roll 6 dice at the same time. I think what I'm getting at is dice chaining, dice roll chaining. If you say to me, you need to roll 12 dice, like every 4+ is a wound or damage or whatever. I mean, I was going to say about Kings of War. I came to Kings of War from Fantasy, which had got the classic Games Workshop. You hit, you wound, you save, you have regen, ward. And then I went to Kings of War and it's like, I make a hit roll using against your defense. And then you make a save, and then I make you save or whatever it is. It's 2 rolls, isn't it, in Kings of War? And it's just like, oh my god, it's so clean. Oh, we forgot in 40k you might have to roll for the amount of damage, didn't we? So
don't forget, because Chris was here a while ago. I used Prima Value Filament PLA from Amazon. It's about 17 quid a kilo. It's good. I've never had any issues with it. The particular color I am using is the silver. I have used black and everything else, but again, it's one of those things of set and forget. I've got it and it's done.
There you go then, Chris. That's him. That's you debriefed on his filament. Yes, Damon, that seems a 2 dice, a 2 roll system seems fair enough, mate. As I say, thankfully it's something that game designers are becoming better at. Is like, and as I say, I just think.
I mean, again, we just coming on to this.
A quid.
Armada's
sorry,
good.
Hang on a minute, Sharks. Sharks just got a question because he's American. A quid, mate, that's British slang for £1 So our currency. Carry on, mate.
Coming to both mine and Paul's first comments here of I don't like modifiers that don't count, and Paul doesn't like chucking multiple dice for multiple dice's sake. I'm going to just shoehorn into this fucking Mantic Armada because it's a D10 system. Every adjustment is 10% up or down, depending on how many it is, and you can get up or down massively versus what you're meant to.
Yeah.
But also, you just roll to hit, looking for a target number, and you hit. There is no bullshit of, oh, well, I get to save and everything else.
Yeah. Like I say, game design is moved on, and I just think that I don't think this concept of people want to roll 30 dice, 20 dice, 10 dice. I don't think it's a thing. And people always say, oh, but people love rolling dice. Really? Do they though? I'd rather just get on with the fucking game than just keep rolling dice over and over. Oh, and then you add in re-rolls. Don't even fucking get me started on re-rolls. Make me roll 30 dice, but I've got to roll the fucking things twice. Stop with that shit. In fact, actually, that should
Can
have
I
been
just
that should have been on my list. God damn it!
shout an earlier comment from Darren,
Yeah, go on.
because it is one that is on the cusp of making my list.
Ooh,
I
good
don't
job,
like
Darren.
wasting rules in games. And when you have to flick between books, multiple books for multiple rules. We're looking at you, Necromunda, mainly because you're fucking ridiculous.
To be fair, though, is that a game mechanic or is that just shit game design? It's sort of a bit peripheral, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying you can't have it, but is it actually a bad game mechanic?
No, but again, this is what I'm just saying. Like, it almost made the list. It didn't make the list.
Give us your number two. Give us your number two.
Which number two am I going with here? Because you said you want to link.
Let's put it this way: if you go with it, I'm going to go with mine. That's essentially a flip side of the same coin, because it's great. But
so we have kicked the shit out of Warcrow, and I'm sorry, Corvus, but I'm doing it again. Why the fuck are movement values not measured in inches? Why is a stride 1.5 centimeters? Kill Team, why is it move circle, square, triangle, and not just 2, 4, 6 inches? Fucking why?
Bullshit.
And
Absolute bullshit.
Some of you may sit there and go, oh, well, Gaslands is bad because you're using templates. Yes, but at least they're a discrete value and it's an intrinsic part of the game. When I have to measure my range in strides using a fucking arbitrary ruler, you can fuck right off.
Yeah, and to be fair, much as good though that guy was giving us our demo game at UKGE, the defense and explanation of how they arrived at a custom distance measurement for movement of models was utter BS. The only thing that makes sense is,
but plays too slow at centimeters.
The only thing that makes sense is you've printed your assets, you've put inches on them, and you've played it and you've thought, fuck, this doesn't work. I tell you what, even though it says movement 3, let's make that 4.5 inches. Well, how can you do that? Well, it's not 3 inches, it's 3 strides. See what I did there? Yeah, fuck off. Yeah,
and again,
this is such a good one. Just while I would think about it, Shark, yes, mate, you make a very good point. Games can be too complex. So Shark says, do you guys ever feel like game design, or some of them anyways, are kind of leaving you behind in comprehension, thinking of needless complexity, loop-like reasoning that just makes my brain freeze? I'll be honest, mate, it's bad game design. Good games are streamlined.
Good game.
Good games are streamlined, quick, and intuitive. Now, I rant about how good Infinity is. Infinity is an extremely complex game with a massive cognitive burden, but I still think it's a fucking brilliant game because the amount of mileage and juice that they squeeze out of what is a really complicated rule set is still fucking amazing. And the other thing is the way that it creates player interaction is
Paul,
just so unique.
If you do that for Trench Offensive, I will break your fucking legs. I'm being deadly serious now.
Trench Offensives. Mate, you could do a little Trench Offensive widget like that you sell with the game that's got triangle along one edge, square.
If I have to do arithmetic at the table, no.
Follow on sales. Yeah, don't do it, Paul. It's a bad idea. No, I'm entirely behind David's one here. This fucking setting things, and in fact, let's go into my number. My second one is also movement related. Roll random movement. What the fuck? Roll and move is a fucking meme in board gaming, and it's been a meme since the 1980s. Why ever would I want to roll a dice to see if I can even just fucking move? Why would I want to do that? Or how far?
I'm gonna bounce off the back of this as well. Fucking Wild West Exodus. With the draw random activation card, and move is one of your activations, and you only get one activation this turn. Right, well, I either need to shoot the fucking thing that's killing me.
You're
or
already ahead of
move.
me because that was also in here. And basically, it's like random where we don't need fucking random. Okay? David's, because I was also going to include a random number of activations. I get to go with my model, and I might get to go 1, 2, or 3 times on an entirely arbitrary random way. Now, before people call me out in the chat and say, oh, well, there are some games where you get an activation and then you might have to make a willpower check or some sort of dice check against a stat to take a second activation. I'm fine with that, because there's a mechanic built into it. There is an influence to it. What I'm talking about is like roll a d6. You either get 1, 2, or 3 activations with that model. It's like, what?
Again, Space Station Zero here is a very good example of the players always go first, but roll a d12 to see if the players carry on acting, or it goes to the AI's turn, and then the AI rolls to see if it goes back to the players, etc.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to activate once, but the order is determined randomly.
Which is a different thing. That's random initiative, which is effectively the same as bolt actions, bag of dice, which I've got no issue with. But yeah, random for shit that should not be random. Shark says, I think random movement though can be really realistic. That is where I will come in with we're playing a game, Shark. We're not playing a simulation. The idea is not to create a simulation. The idea is to create an entertaining game. And just from my personal view, the amount of distance a model can be moved. For a start, we create a process where we have to roll a dice or randomize it. We're eating up game time. We're creating a step. Why do that? If the player wants to move, give it a movement distance. If they want to move 4 because it gets them in cover and that's the best place to be, brilliant. If they want to move the 6 and they can move the 6, move the fucking 6. Just get on with it. Let's move on with the game.
Let's do what we came here to do, which is throw dice and play games. And I'm all out of throwing dice.
If Jerry hadn't completely deleted his YouTube account because he doesn't give in to terrorists, he would, I'm sure, totally agree. But yeah, again, just before you randomize anything in a fucking game, ask yourself, why am I randomizing this? To what end am I creating a random event? What am I hoping to achieve?
Do you want to know what's the best thing?
If the answer is frustrate the fuck out of everybody, then you could probably randomize everything. But then again, why bother playing?
My number 3 bounces so badly off the back of this, it's unreal. So shall we go?
Let's go with your number 3.
Fucking war games where the scenario, for example, the AOS Starfall mission, where it arrives in one of 3 squares on the back of the board edge, but you don't know which one, so whichever army's got the higher mobility wins the game. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Fucking why? I am playing a war game. I would like to determine what is actually fucking happening and have a plan going into the scoring turn so that I could actually, I don't know, win the game that I've been playing for 4 1/4 hours and not have it be determined on a randomly altruistic fucking deployment of a fucking objective that my opponent's fast fucking orcish cavalry just go and flood.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, you're dead right here. And I will add to this my experience of Warcry. I played a few games of Warcry when the first box set came out, and one of the things we realised was because you randomised the actual sort of mission. For those of you who haven't played Warcry, you have a set of cards, and you turn over like a mission card, a deployment
Third
card,
deployment card and everything else.
whatever.
Yeah.
But some of those combinations are basically broken. So, like, if you roll a mission where a random objective spawns turn 3, and then you roll a deployment card where a third of an opponent's army arrives at exactly the same location on turn 3, they've basically all they've got to do to win the game is wait until turn 3. And it's just like, this isn't very well done then, is it?
And some may argue, right? I know I've been banging on a lot about Flames of War, but at least the objectives are in a fixed position and you either score them at turn 6 or your opponent's making a conscious effort to score them early and cancel the game out early.
Yeah. You
can read the fucking room, boys and girls. It isn't suddenly, oh, look, they've arrived, and oh, look, the meteor's fallen in exactly the right position, and they've gone from having their ass handed to them to, oh, look, they're winning the game.
I mean,
by sheer and utter, random, unadulterated fucking chance.
And I think to be fair, mate, yours boils down to the same as mine, which is you put too much random or inappropriate random in. If there's random, again, the idea to have random, the idea to have a random scenario so that it's not quite the same every time you play it is great. Varied games, you're not getting the same fucking game experience every time. But think about it. When you're designing it, think about it. If it's so fucking random that it doesn't matter what you do up until a point, and then it's just like, oh well, you just won because of where you were standing.
Take the Mantic approach, Mantic Armada approach of that game that we played with those crates that blow around randomly in the wind. That is a nice amount of random because they blow around in the wind. But they're all on the board from the beginning, and we can plan and plot.
And the wind doesn't change that much.
We know that the wind. Yeah, we know that the wind will move one step either way or stay where it is.
Exactly. It doesn't constantly flip table sides every other turn. Yeah, no, that is a good one, mate. Like I say, it's another great example, very similar to mine.
What's your final one?
My last one, it took me a while. Do you know what? I didn't think I was going to be able to come up with 3, but then I remembered War on Terror.
Oh, and first edition Drop Zone Commander?
To a lesser extent, but yeah, one thing that we are done with in war games is fucking tables, arrayed tables, fucking 8 columns and 10 rows, where you cross-reference shooting versus armor versus the length of my cat's cock to get a fucking
the temperature on Tuesday, the 15th of December.
No.
Arbitrarily.
No. If I literally have to carry around a telephone directory that looks like a printout of the fucking account games GW's fucking Excel spreadsheet of accounts, I'm not playing your game. And I can remember when we fucking went to UK Games Expo and we looked at War on Terror, and they showed us their
War on Terror, though, we did. The lookup tables were horrible.
They were horrible, and it was a big fucking lookup table.
As I said to you,
huge.
The more egregious thing with Roll on Terror, we've said it repeatedly tonight, is
it's random.
Put your fucking random cover on your fucking lookup table.
To be fair, we could have covered that in the previous one.
Leave.
A random.
Leave. Get out. Fuck off.
Yeah, see the previous example.
Nobody invited you here. Leave.
Yeah, no. Like I say, if I'm doing value comparisons or want to work the outcome of something in a war game now. It's like some people say, oh well, in old world you still have like you still have, and again in 40k you still have the toughness comparison. So if it's the same, it's 4. If it's less than, it's 5. If it's more than, it's 3. Yeah, but it's a simple set of mental rules. Do you know what I mean? I don't need a table. I don't need a table with toughness and fucking strength gridded out. And then I'm like,
bear with me. I'm going to lean.
I mean, you could do it that way if you want, but you don't need the table. You just fucking explain it to the person in simple English. If the two values are the same, you need a 4. If this value's higher, you need a 5. If this value's higher, you need a 3. Okay? Got it? Excellent. No need for a table? Good. Lovely.
I thought I had it somewhere, but I don't. I was going to
Oh my God. Advanced Squad Leader, that sounds like the kind of game that I would not play in my worst nightmare, Shark.
I was just going to find the DZC First Edition rules, but I can't find them. Because the lookup table on that was not nice.
For what was that for, mate? So I was just reading some of the comments.
DZC First Edition rulebook that had the lookup table in it.
Look, you guys, they're just being fucking. We're being trolled by our own chat now. Not those sort of tables, all right? Oh my God. Again, do you know what, Darren? Oh, Darren, that is a fucking good one, mate. Toros, I'm scrolling back in the chat for you guys at home because Toros said earlier Saxa must have made a fortune this episode because of all the salt, presumably. So, very funny. Darren made a brilliant one here, mate. You can just about see it on the screen. Another thing the starter demo Warcrow video had was the terrain placement as part of the game. Now, do you know what? If I'd have thought...
what was that other fucking... What was the other fucking game? Zeo, when that guy was trying to sell us at UKGE that there's a game in placing the terrain on the...
Yeah.
No.
Do you know what, Darren? If I'd have thought of it, mate, that would have probably been on my list. Because I think you're gaming too hard. If you've got to... I mean... I've got to be careful because people might call me out. Oh yeah, but you said Mythic Battles drafting your fucking crew was the reason it's a good idea in Mythic Battles is because basically what you've got is a board game with its own internal meta, and because it's been created once and they're not tuned or changed, you could end up with wombo combos. So if a player takes 2 or 3 models together, they're always going to win because it's really powerful. But at least if you've got an established meta with you and your friends and everybody gets that, they can be like, you drafted that, did you? Right, well, I'm taking this and you're not fucking having it because I know what those two do together. So this is why it's good. But yeah, turning a game into placing the terrain before you play the game, no.
And I don't think
Sorry.
you're comparing. I don't think you're comparing apples with apples there, because Mythic, at the end of the day, and at the heart and soul of it, is the fact that it's a board game.
These guys are trying to out-chart each other in the chat. David says, "I'll see your ASL and raise you Challenger 2000."
If we go to a game where, again, like making a thing out of deployment, there are games that do it well, and we've already touched on it and kicked the shit out of it. But Warcry, with the cards, at least you just take the card and orientate it and get the terrain set up as per the card layout.
That's more like random table. It's not as if it's not the players actually using it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what's good about it.
Yeah.
Again, when you get good at setting up a table for Armada, Flames of War, whatever, I end up setting up 90% of the tables for the games I play because I'm decent at it. They look pretty and they're playable and they're fun. I don't mind doing that so long as people help me pack down afterwards.
I don't think. I don't know how you feel as well, mate. Obviously, in practical terms, I would say the best compromise is one player A builds the table, then says to player B, "Do you want to change anything?" And they can just literally tweak it. If anything looks unfair or egregious, just move. I want to put that. We've got too many forests on this side. I want to. It's like that's all you need to do. But get the fuck on with the game.
Somebody called it earlier. Well, player B rolls the dice and picks the deployment.
Yeah,
they can exploit the fact. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. That's a really good system. Yeah. So if player A built a shit table, player B is going to beat him over the head with it. It's like, oh yeah, you've done a really good job building this table. I'm going here, by the way, because of all the fucking hills.
Building tables.
Yeah. So no, good luck with that. No, that's a good shout, mate. So there you go. That is our 3 war game mechanics that we're done with.
Right off.
Yeah. There was a little bit of crossover there. I'm sure he won't, but if you are watching this on Clapham, please comment down below. And feel free to call us idiots. Obviously, all this was meant with the greatest respect and in fun. We better call it a night. So we thank you very much for you guys for being here. We hope you enjoyed the show. I think that one went quite well as our first response video.
It's a different pace for us.
Yeah.
But I think it was something we'd have probably covered eventually.
Probably a little bit salty. Sorry if everybody's got a little bit, overdosed on it. If they're all getting their blood pressure's up because of all the sodium chloride.
We've got to wrap up stream because actually we've got a shift down in the salt mines in a minute. So we've got to go crack the whip and get sodium chloride out for next week.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so right, let's start the wind up. Thank you very much for being here in YouTube land. First of all, let's thank everybody here over to my left who in the chat. These are the real stars of the show, the people without the interaction. Without whose interaction, this show would just be 2 fucking idiots talking at the wall, and would be nowhere near much fun to watch.
Even rising to spam
so I salute them. If you can only find time to do one thing tonight, please click the like button after you finish watching the stream. And even if you only watch half of it, just give us a like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and it's all we ask for. If you can do any of the other YouTubey stuff, it's all listed there. Share, comment, subscribe, whatever you think is of value to you, please do it. But the like is all that we ask for. And with that, I have another beer to drink. Because I don't know, I've got a bit of a thirst. I don't know if that was all the. I don't know. They say they put salted peanuts in pubs. I think maybe I've been afflicted by another kind of salty snack. And that should set the.
You made that way worse than it had to be.
Yeah, he pulls a grenade, he throws it into the chat, and then he just says, "Night all."